You are watching ABC7 News at 5:30.
Welcome back. Big storms dumping even more rain across the area this afternoon.
That's right. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for a look at our first alert forecast this evening.
Yeah, we've already had 2.5 inches in some isolated areas with these tropical downpours. We have this steady stream of tropical moisture coming up as we did last week and this weekend, and it's not going away. There's a trough of low pressure that extends all the way down to the Caribbean, and that's just the focal point for all this moisture to move northward. And it looks as though we're getting a little break now in the heavy rainfall, but that may be changing pretty quickly over the weekend as the National Hurricane Center now gives us a 20% chance developing in the next 5 days. Right now it's disorganized and there's not even a center of low pressure at this point, but models are hinting that there will be, and it will move into the Gulf of Mexico. There are two theories. One has it going toward Florida, while another has it going toward the lower Mississippi Valley, and we'll show you those models right now. The Euro is the one that is pushing all the wind and also the heavy rainfall to the northwest. Here you can see the center. This is Friday, and the center kind of making its way through the central Gulf of Mexico and eventually heading off toward New Orleans. But notice this area right here. That's everything to the right of the center. So in a poorly organized, weak tropical system, a lot of times what you get is not much gathering around the center as you do to the right of the center. So we would still get a lot of rainfall in this scenario, as well as the GFS. Now that will eventually move on and weaken somewhat. Now as far as the GF model goes, you'll see the GFS, this system developing on Friday, then moving off north. Now the area of low pressure would be sometime around here on Saturday, and then by late Saturday moving off to the northeast and eventually heading toward the Carolinas. These models will be changing. We're not anticipating anything too significant as far as windstorm goes, but it will get windy, and there's a possibility it could develop into a tropical depression or even a very weak tropical storm. We'll talk more about that and our overall forecast for the rest of this week, which is still seeing showers and storms. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. With all the rain we've seen lately, some local utility departments are concerned the change from extreme dry to extreme wet weather may damage some infrastructure.
That could lead to more water main breaks over the next few weeks. ABC7's Christopher Brantley joins us live to explain what could happen. Christopher?
Well, good evening, guys. The more rain that falls and the more of it that sort of sits there in the soil, that can actually shift to the ground beneath our feet. And therein lies quite a problem.
Rain is dampening the Suncoast these days, and more is on the way.
When you go from exceedingly dry conditions in the upper few feet of the soil to saturated, things move.
Len Bramble, Venice's assistant city manager, is well familiar with this problem.
Groundwater table is very low during the dry season. It's going to increase pretty dramatically with a lot of rain to start the wet season, and there's the problem.
It can take 2 weeks or more for the ground to become acquainted with the wet conditions, but in that time, underground piping can shift.
Water fills all the void spaces and the pores and the sand and the shell and all those things, and things move. They move a little bit.
That's why, according to Bramble, more water main breaks should be expected this time of year. Manatee Sarasota Sierra Club President Jerry Swarmstead believes there's one reason we're experiencing such a dramatic change.
That is just the epitome of what global warming is.
Swarmstead says she's watched the extreme shift in weather become worse and worse over the years.
It used to come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and have a nice little rain, and now we're having them much more often, much more intense.
And since the heavy rain causes things like water main breaks, she says more money needs to be put into infrastructure.
We need to put money into our infrastructure and our roads and prepare for this.
Now, one easy way to see where the water table is if you look like right there on the roadway, if you see some water puddling for several days and it's not going away, that could be the surest indication that that water table is getting too high. Live in Venice, Christopher Brantley, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Christopher. Neighborhoods in South Florida are dealing with flooding issues tonight. Here's an aerial look at the flooding in Broward County. As you can see, several roads and driveways are underwater and fields are flooded. There have been some scattered power outages in that area as well. Heavy rain fell across the county over the weekend with more than 14 inches in some areas.
Florida's largest power company is about to get a lot bigger. NextEra Energy says it has reached a $6.5 billion deal with Atlanta-based Southern company to buy Gulf Power as well as Florida City Gas. NextEra Energy is the parent company of Florida Power & Light, which has 5 million customers right now in Florida. Gulf Power is the main utility company in Northwest Florida with 450,000 customers. NextEra Energy expects to complete both acquisitions by the first half of next year.
Last October, the World Rowing Championships raked in more than $23 million in economic impact for the Sunshine State. Now Nathan Benderson is looking at its next major rowing event this weekend to jumpstart what they say is a sport growing in popularity. ABC7's Dwayne Lindo gives us a preview of what you'll see.
Well, Jacqueline, it's the first time the NCAA Division I, II, and III Women's Rowing Championship will be held at this venue. It will feature 22 squads, including the University of Central Florida. And you'll be surprised at the number of local kids that are competing.
Crossing the finish line first.
It's the type of event Sarasota crew varsity coach Caitlin Crouch is familiar with and passionate about as a former crew member for San Diego State University. She agrees the economic exposure for this area will be great, but the event serves a bigger purpose.
You know, rowing is a growing sport and that a lot of people are interested in it and also should be looking at it for potential college opportunities.
And a number of women competing got their start here with Sarasota Crew, Sarasota Scullers, and Manatee County Youth Rowing.
There's people from Yale, Texas, Duke, I mean, all sorts of different places, Stanford. And it's nice to have that connection because they look to us for help with training facilities while they're here.
Sanka is the organization that manages Nathan Benderson Park. Their CEO says it's not a coincidence that many local young women are competing.
I think any time that we can expose our community to sport and positive role models, I think that's always a big win.
And with Benderson hosting numerous rowing events each year, preparation is already underway for upcoming projects that Rodriguez is hoping will attract thousands.
We'll be hosting the Sunshine State Games, and that'll kind of wrap up our regatta season here in the spring. That last weekend of September, we're going to be hosting the World Rowing Masters Regatta. You get to see athletes who are in their latter years of rowing coming out and competing.
For Crouch, she believes these regattas are a win-win for all involved.
The more big events that Nathan Benderson Park is able to facilitate and able to handle, I think it just shows even more what the city can handle as well.
Now, this event is something Nathan Benderson will have in the future. They'll host the Women's Championships in 2020 and 2021. Reporting live in Sarasota County, Dwayne Lindo, your Suncoast News.
All right, Dwayne, thank you. What's next for the Van Wezel along Sarasota's Bayfront? Well, city and community leaders meeting throughout the day to talk about options for a possible redesign to the historic concert hall. Design plans for 53 acres of Sarasota's Bayfront were released last month, but the Van Wezel wasn't included in those plans.
We came in April with 3 different schemes that in many different ways looked at the Van Wezel actually not being present on the site in the future, largely because a new performance art hall is in our future, and we hope that it becomes a reality.
Organizers say the community expressed a desire for the Van Wezel to be part of that redevelopment plan, so organizers went back to the drawing board and came up with at least 2 new plans that now include that performing arts hall. We have more details now on what will soon open in the green at Lakewood Ranch. Construction is underway at the complex, which is at the corner of Lakewood Ranch Boulevard and State Road 70 in Manatee County. Earth Fare specialty grocer recently opened there, and according to the Business Observer, a Tampa-based restaurant called So Fresh will soon open, along with a Chipotle Mexican grill, Starbucks, Verizon, Lavish Nails, Mattress and More, Main Street Dentistry, and Modern Gents. Those businesses are expected to open by early winter.
This week is National Safe Boating Week, and a recent report says Florida recorded over 760 boating accidents in 2017. That's up 7.3% just from the year before, while 67 boating-related deaths matched the total from 2016, according to that report by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. The agency says the report is used to encourage boaters to focus on simple, effective steps to make boating safer. Overboard deaths have been the leading type of fatal accident for the past 15 years, drowning the leading cause of death. FWC says most accidents and injuries could be prevented if boaters use basic safety measures.
Manatee County Marine Rescue is extending its summer hours. Starting this Saturday, lifeguards will be watching the beaches from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. and this goes through September 7th. Lifeguard patrol ends at 5 p.m. during the rest of the year. Lifeguard hours in Sarasota County will not change this summer. They patrol 10 a.m. until 4:45, 7 days a week.
Well, as DNA testing grows in popularity and more people join the database of genetic information out there, there's also growing questions about how much privacy can be expected once your information is out there. Some companies like Ancestry.com share genetic information with research partners with the consent of customers. Genealogy websites have also been used to connect investigators to possible criminal suspects. Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, a Bradenton woman explains how DNA testing ended a 60-year search for her sister.
I think both of us feel a sadness because we didn't have the time to share with each other, but we've got it now.
Nobody is owed a relationship, but I believe that they are owed that information about themselves, their own identity.
Ancestry.com estimates its DNA database to be around 10 million people. Their next closest competitor, 23andMe, has around 5 million estimated customers.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight.
As summer swim season approaches, what not to do when it comes to getting in the pool.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Get to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota for big savings during the Chrysler Pacifica Incredible Sales Event. Get KBB's 2017 Best Buy Award overall winner, the Chrysler Pacifica, for just $23,999. Or save big and get the new Chrysler 300 Touring with an MSRP over $30,000 for just $21,999. That's a savings of over $8,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota today.
Since 2004, Embracing Our Differences has used the power of art and education to promote diversity. One way it accomplishes this is through its annual outdoor exhibition of 45 billboard-sized works of art, each accompanied by an inspirational quote. Join us in creating a community that is inclusive for all, where differences are embraced and individuality is celebrated. We invite you to celebrate the voices and visions of diversity and inclusion at this year's exhibit at Sarasota's Island Park.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Well, just when you thought it was safe to go back into the swimming pool, ABC's Janae Norman has some advice on how you can make sure this summer is a healthy one.
Sunscreen, check. Swimsuit, check. It's almost time for summer swim season. The CDC wants you to make it a healthy one. That's why in what they call Healthy and Safe Swimming Week, they're talking about some nasty bacteria that you don't want to encounter. The kinds that have caused over 24,000 outbreaks between 2000 and 2014. Most of the problems, it seems, are at hotel pools and hot tubs and during the months of June, July, and August. A few, sadly, were deadly. Over half the cases were due to cryptosporidium, which causes gastrointestinal symptoms. The rest were from pseudomonas, which causes skin and ear infections, and Legionella, which, when breathed in, can cause pneumonia. The CDC says there are more outbreaks every year, so here's what not to do. Don't swallow pool water. Don't go into a pool if you've had a recent stomach bug. Shower before you get in, and if it's in your backyard pool, check the chlorine and pH. These outbreaks are rare, but who wants to ruin a good summer? With this Medical Minute, I'm Janae Norman, ABC News.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Speaking of summer, it seems like we're there in the summer pattern, but not really. A low pressure trough has been really bringing us the heavy weather, and it looks as though it's not going to stop anytime soon. We've had heavy rainfall since Thursday of last week due to some tropical moisture that's moved in. Now, this is since Thursday. These are estimates from some of the sites, and we're showing up at 5 to 6 inches of rain plus in parts of Sarasota County. Northport 5.9. And 5.0 into Arcadia or near Arcadia, and that's where the rivers are starting to crest, in fact, be over flood stage now. Just over flood stage, a flood warning for the Horse Creek in DeSoto County. Also, the Manatee River at the Mayaca Head, some minor flooding going on there, but with additional rainfall in the offing, more flooding likely throughout this week and into the weekend. Well, there's that trough of low pressure you can see extending all the way down into the western portion of the Caribbean tonight, and that steady stream of moisture is not going anywhere. It's going to stay with us through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even into the weekend, and the weekend could be a little bit dicier with the low pressure developing. Heavy weather now along I-75 into Hillsborough. Also, another line of some moderate to heavy rainfall blowing up now and along Bradenton, State Road 64, all the way out along I-75 to State Road 70 near Onico and into Palmetto and Bradenton, stretching off toward the northwest. Those storms are moving at around 10 to 15 miles an hour, so you can expect those to continue to bring some locally heavy rainfall, causing some ponding of the water in some of the roadways there, making for hazardous driving conditions. Well, here's the futurecast. We'll take you through time. We have the storms around now, and then they'll continue to move off toward the northwest, and we will see that activity again winding down, say after 9 o'clock. Most of the rain should be over, especially after midnight, and then we'll see some clouds, some partial clearing tomorrow morning. We should see a pretty decent morning start. And then by midday, the storm's starting to develop into the interior counties, and then we'll start to see some shower activity, say after 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and some of those storms could be heavy rainmakers due just to the abundance of moisture in the air. Now, we talked about it earlier, the tropical low possibly developing. It wouldn't be anything significant as far as winds go, but rainfall, a different story. The European model, by the way, takes it off into this direction where temperatures are very warm right now, into the mid-80s there. The GFS takes it to the east and northeast, and if that were the case, it would not be as an intense storm. It wouldn't get the fuel source anyway from the waters there off the west coast of Florida. Either way, I think we'll be on the right side of the storm, which means we'll be in that moisture trail still, and that means the possibility of some heavy rainfall on Friday, Saturday, and possibly even into Sunday, although some models are hinting that we will see a little bit of clearing by Sunday late and into Monday, Memorial Day. Some showers right now at the airport at 75 degrees, and the dew point remains high. The scattered showers and storms mainly tomorrow afternoon. That should read for tomorrow. We'll have southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be 3 to 5 or 2 to 3 foot seas there. 70% chance for rain. Some of that could be heavy at times in the afternoon and evening mainly. And then we taper down just to 50% though on Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday could be a day of wet weather, especially if it moves slow. We'll continue to see showers and storms move in on Saturday, and temperatures will be cooler because of the increased cloud cover. The rain chances lessen somewhat on Sunday and Monday. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Time now to check your first alert traffic for the drive home. There is a crash in the northbound lanes of I-75 that's causing some backups in those northbound lanes tonight. That's happening right around the exit at Clark Road, so keep that in mind, but the southbound lanes are looking good.
Well, the Suncoast is different from other parts of Florida in that from the beginning, the area has been devoted to the arts.
In the early 1920s, we already had some impressive and nationally known entertainment venues here on the Suncoast. ABC7's Linda Carson shows us why those early locations helped make this a great place to call home.
Sarasota claimed the title Culture Coast early on. It started in the 1920s when arts and culture came roaring into downtown.
This corner was the Miramar Auditorium, and it would have been like the 1920s version of the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall.
LaHurd says this is where all the acts coming to town performed in those days, but upstairs was where the real action was.
The upstairs was a two-room place. They had a full gambling casino, and it was operated by an outfit named Conrad and Locke out of Chicago. And they wouldn't let locals play, but out-of-towners could go up there and play, and they'd pay off with silver dollars.
And right next to it on Palm Avenue stood the Miramar Apartments.
And the apartments in the Miramar Hotel were built by a gentleman named Andrew McCanch. And he came to Sarasota in the early 20s, just before the land boom, and he was known as an asset to any town that he chose to move to.
He made a deal with city leaders.
He said, if you give me free electricity, free water, and no taxes for 10 years, I'll build you a world-class hotel. And the city council agreed to that.
First, he built the apartments.
They went up in 60 days, and they were known as the 60-day wonder. And then behind that, he built the Miramar Hotel, and then the casino.
It was right on the water.
But in those days, they had a view to the Gulf. Sarasota Bay washed up to Gulfstream Avenue before they rerouted 41 through.
This was Sarasota's entertainment hub.
That sufficed until the Municipal Auditorium went up in like 35 or 36, and that's when more entertainment, larger venues came and put on productions.
And Sarasota changed.
The first downtown condominium came up in 1964, and then they rerouted the Bayfront about 1958. So things started, then Arvida came in 59, and you know, the keys were developed.
But signs of our past still remain. And you can still walk down Palm Avenue today and see a glimpse of Sarasota's past and realize how important entertainment venues have been since the very beginning. Linda Carson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Linda, thank you. Speaking of entertainment.
Entertainment news is coming up next.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Outback is an IIHS top safety pick for 10 years running. Lease a new Subaru Outback today for just $249 a month. Or get 0% financing with zero down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
It's a huge night for entertainment with finales of both Dancing with the Stars and American Idol right here on ABC7.
3 couples remain in what has been one of the most competitive seasons of Dancing with the Stars. In the beginning, 10 athletes were given just 4 weeks to prove that they had what it takes to be the new champion. Last week, 3 couples were sent home. Now, football star Josh Norman, Olympic skater Adam Rippon, and former Olympic skater Tanya Harding will get one last shot at getting that coveted mirror ball trophy.
And right after that finale, we will finally learn who will be America's next superstar. Tonight, the winner of American Idol will be crowned. The final 3 contestants gave their all last night. Now it's up to the viewers to decide who will win: Caleb Hutchison, Gabby Barrett, or Maddie Poppe. Tonight's show will be full of special performances from our American Idol judges and other superstars like Nick Jonas and Patti LaBelle. You can watch the finales of both of these shows right here tonight on ABC7, beginning at 8 o'clock.
I'm certainly looking forward to both of those. I've been following them, and there's some good competition in both of those.
Yep. Watch it all tonight. And we'll be right back with more news.